If you're trying to do SEO for your Shopify website, but you have no idea where to put your keywords, you're on the right video. I'm going to show you exactly which locations to place your keywords on your website so you can reach the top spot in Google and drive tons of organic search revenue and traffic to your store. This is exactly how we do on-page SEO at my agency for every single brand that we work with. We recently used the strategies you're about to learn in this free video to help a brand grow from $3,000 a month to over $200,000 a month in organic search revenue in just about 63 days. On-page SEO is the most important element of SEO. You will spend all these hours doing keyword research, and that's great and it's super valuable. But if you don't use those keywords properly, it's going to be impossible for you to end up on page one, and all that work will have been for nothing, right? So doing the keyword research is one step, actually implementing them is the second. There are a few critical locations that your target keyword has to be in order to reach the number one spot on Google. Your title, or H1. If you're on Shopify, this will be your product page. Like your product name will be the title. Same thing with your collection name, or the blog post name will be the title. Your meta title, your meta description, your URL slug, your image alt text, and naturally a few times throughout the content. These locations apply to every single page. Like I said, product page, collection page, blog post, every single one of them matters. So let's get into the specifics of each. Your title / H1. The product title is the page title in the Shopify store. I already said that. This is one of the first elements that Google looks at when evaluating what the page is all about. This makes sense. Obviously, it's the title of the page. It's like the title of a book, right? Like it's on the cover. It's the first thing you're going to see. Meta title. Meta title is the large blue text that is shown in search results, right? It used to be, 10 blue links. Now it's the Google's results look a little bit different with ads and, feature snippets and things like that. But the blue text is the meta title. Your target keyword absolutely has to be here. You will not rank on page one without it being here. If you're optimizing for a product page or even a collection page, it's probably also worth adding a CTA to the meta title, something like buy, shop, on sale, free shipping, etc. Basic template I like to use is shop, insert my target keyword, dash or pipe, and then brand name, right? So shop collagen supplements, dash, the collagen company, whatever your brand name is. Meta description. Meta description is not a direct ranking factor, so adding your keyword to it will not directly help you rank higher than another website. However, that being said, I do recommend that you write engaging meta descriptions for your top money pages, so your top products, your top collections, things like that. But, if you got like 200, 300, 400, 1,000 plus SKUs, I would not waste your time writing a meta description for all of them. The theory really behind meta descriptions is that someone's going to read it if it's on page one and instantly think, okay, yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Right? It's like good copywriting. So at this point, you're really optimizing for click-through rate. It's important to note that the keyword will be bolded in the meta description if present, which, if it's there, obviously, which will attract users' eyes to it, potentially earning you a click, right? So if it's there, users will see bold and they'll see the difference between the rest of the text and their eyes will get drawn. Then they'll read the full copy, and then that's when you get the click. If your pages aren't anywhere near page one, no one is going to see the meta description. So you can probably wait till you're in the top 15 spots to actually bother writing it. Otherwise, there's more important things to do that are actually going to help you grow now. Next up, URL slug. Google used to acknowledge that the URL slug was a ranking factor, right? But more recently has said that it's not. Just like meta descriptions, it doesn't make any sense to put anything but the keyword there, right? You wouldn't want something like .com/product/XYZ123. You'd probably want something like .com/product/collagen pro 3 or whatever, right? It's just helpful, right? It should make sense, right? Users are going to look at it, so it's helpful for them. And also when you are making any technical changes to your URL, whether you're migrating sites or something like that, it's going to be way easier to see a URL that's appropriately named as opposed to you using a bunch of random strings. That's going to be so hard to keep track of when you do migrations or anything like that. Next up, image alt text. Google is not great at reading images. Image alt text really helps provide the missing context to them. However, it's not an SEO tool. It's actually a requirement for disabled users, so you should have it there anyway. I've actually heard of brands being when you start to probably push 500K a year, $1 million a year, there are going to be some lawsuits. So a few brands I've worked with have had to fight off lawsuits about the disability stuff. So make sure it's there. This is one piece of the disability stuff you need on your website, but it's important to have it there. Fortunately though, it does actually provide some value for SEO, so we want to make sure we get out of there. Add your keyword to the image alt text, but don't make it look spammy. I think you get 30 characters, so it's gonna have to be pretty short anyway. You should also name your image file with the same target keyword, and make sure to compress or transform it into a WebP format before you actually upload it to save time on page speed, right? Bunch of big images is going to slow your site down, so you don't want that to happen. And last up, naturally a few times throughout the content. Keyword density is, I would say 99% of cases, probably a thing of the past. So I don't want you to overthink this, right? Everyone used to say hey, it should be, proper keyword density is 3% or 4%, right? Which means you're mentioning it 3 to 4 times per 100 words. I mention it a few times and make sure one of those is in the first 25 to 50 words. Ideally, the first sentence. That's it. Make sure to also use close variants of the keyword, often referred to as semantic keywords. You can get these out of ChatGPT. They can help you come up with a list of semantic keywords. You can also use a tool like Surfer or Phrase. I prefer ChatGPT, honestly. It's way cheaper than Surfer or Phrase. And truth be told, like, even if you get a green light on Surfer or Phrase or Yoast or whatever, like, you're not going to rank number one just because of that, right? There's so many other things at play. I would write the copy, and then 3 or 4 weeks later, I would come back to it in Google Search Console and look at what keywords it's actually ranking for, and then optimize it for those. Okay, that's free to do that. Now, outside of the places I just mentioned, there aren't super strict rules about how to do on-page SEO for Shopify store. However, there are a handful of things to keep in mind. First, you need to create helpful, reliable, and people-first content. That is what Google wants to rank. What does that look like? First off, is it easy to read? Readability is obviously an aspect, right? Like, it should be readable. You shouldn't use a lot of long sentences, complex words, things like that. But you also need to think about how the page actually looks, both on desktop and on mobile, right? Are you using headers that make sense, tons of white space, helpful images, videos, graphics, things if you have them, things like that. Second, is your content actually valuable and satisfying to users? Do you fully showcase your depth of knowledge, trustworthiness, expertise? And once the user has read all of it, will that actually help them achieve whatever goal they set out to do when they started their search? This is where you should evaluate your content against your competitors to see if you've missed anything, right? The oldest way of doing SEO and really of doing business is just like seeing what your competitors do and doing it better, right? So I definitely would advise you to spend a lot of time in competitor analysis when you're actually writing content. Now, I know this is going to seem really redundant, like especially if you've got 20, 30, 40, 50 collection pages. You're just gonna be adding you're adding keywords to the same spots all the time. I get it, it's boring, it's redundant, it feels redundant, but I'm telling you, if you do it for every single page on your Shopify store, you're going to end up on page 1 in no time. And that's because your competitors are going to get bored and give up halfway through or even earlier. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I recently helped a dropshipping store increase their organic search revenue a month from $3,000 a month to over $200,000 a month, and I made a completely free video giving away the full SEO process and strategy we used at my agency to achieve this. Click on the pop-up to go watch that. And if you're a Shopify brand that's doing at least $100K a month in revenue and you are looking to really scale your SEO efforts, book a call with me. Links in the description. Peace.